So here's a couple things to think about before you buy the 701 Supermoto. So number one, there's obviously no wind protection whatsoever. So it has no windshield. It really doesn't have any body work, kind of like my GS does here. So you're just absolutely blasted by the wind from your ankles all the way up to your head, your chest, your legs, your stomach, just blasted by the wind. Just understand that's what's gonna happen, okay? Number two, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. It's kind of like, it's super subjective. So I know the stock seat, a lot of people really don't like. There is padding, of course, but you could get a different seat. I think by Seat Concepts makes one of these that make it a little bit more comfortable. But just understand it's long and flat and kind of rigid, and it's not the most comfortable ride in the world. So if you check it out, just looking at the seat, and then you come over here and look at the BMW seat, wide, super cushiony, like obviously this is like a Cadillac level comfort compared to something like this. And the third thing to really keep in mind is this thing can be expensive. So MSRP is like $12,900, and then plus tax, title, license, and all that other crap. So that's just the bike. And then once you go into putting stuff you want onto it, like a fender eliminator kit, or if you do an exhaust or power commander or whatever hell else you do, it's just going to add up. So if you're looking for a Supermoto, if you're new to Supermoto riding, so this type of bike is a track weapon, or a cornering weapon, I should say. Not necessarily track only, but it's definitely a cornering weapon. It is not a long distance cruiser, comfort, luggage, cruise control, heated grips type of bike like my GS is. This is mainly a cornering weapon. So if you're riding around and you just want to go attack the corners and this is what you're going to do with the bike, that's what I bought this bike for, right? So I'm just dealing with the reality that I live here by the beach, and for me to get out to the twisty mountain roads to use this as a cornering weapon, which it's made for, I think, then I'm just gonna have to ride a half hour on the highway and just to get to the twisties. But for me, it's worth it, right? If I wanted to be super comfortable and go long distance, well, that's what the GS is for. But this is an absolute cornering weapon for sure. And the last thing to think about, so if you want to get a Supermoto, why do you want this type of bike? So the versatility of this bike is what makes it so attractive, I think, to a lot of people. You can ride this around on the city streets, like around your neighborhood, super fun to do. Because of the longer suspension travel, because it is on and off-road bike, you could jump the thing, you go up and down stairs if you wanted to. You could go on the dirt, you could go on the street. You could go knee down road racing style. You could go foot out Supermoto style. It's just incredibly versatile, right? It has super grippy tires, 17-inch rims, so you could get some amazingly grippy tires on this thing, and you could take it to the track. The 701 is powerful enough where it could go like, I don't know, 120 plus miles per hour. So it could be super fun on bigger tracks, and you could also go to lower speed go-kart tracks, Supermoto tracks in your area on a Supermoto as well. So it could do a whole bunch of stuff, right? It's just not designed and meant to do what the GS is meant to do. So don't think it's gonna be a comfortable ride. If you ride back and forth on the highway for like 20 minutes plus each direction just to go to work, and this is the bike you're thinking about getting to do that, just understand the wind is gonna beat you up and you're not gonna be comfortable doing that. It's not, you can commute on it. I mean, I'm sure people find this comfortable, but there's a lot of other bikes you could get that would be more suited toward that type of riding. Last thing to think about, so if you're thinking about getting a Supermoto and you look at this thing, so I don't recommend this for beginner riders at all. And if you already have experience and you want to get it, then sure. But if you're kind of new to Supermoto riding and you want a little bit of a cheaper bike, you can always go with the DRZ 400 Supermoto. So 400 cc's, that has like 35 horsepower. This has like 75 horsepower, so it's a big jump. And all the parts and everything like that, and the technology, traction control, quick shifter up and down. Of course, this is way better in every way. But the DRZ is a cheaper, fun, reliable bike that's been around and been the same for damn near ever. And I actually had a street legal 2019 DRZ 400 Supermoto, and it was absolutely a blast. Took it to the track, did everything I would twisting on roads. It was fun. Just understand it's 5 gears. It's not fuel injected. There's zero technology whatsoever, which is also a fun, good thing, right? And it's way, way cheaper. So just a couple things to keep in mind. A lot of people, since I bought this bike last week, a lot of people are asking me, is it a good beginner bike? Should I get that bike? I'm thinking about getting a Supermoto, but I don't have that much money, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe a DRZ is better suited for you. And just understand, the more realistic you are about what you're gonna do with the motorcycle, the better you're able to narrow down like the kind of categories of what you want. You can kind of funnel it down to what you're gonna be doing with the thing. If you mainly commute on your bike and then every now and then you take it to a twisty mountain road to have some fun in the corners, I would say this is not the bike for you, because this is purposely built like this is a cornering weapon. That's what it's meant for, right? So if you try to take the bike out of its natural built reason of the whole purpose of why it's built and put it into a different environment, like if you're doing long distance comfort traveling, or you think it's going to be like that, it's kind of using the wrong tool for the job. You see what I'm saying? So my GS can do everything. I went to Colorado and back, on-road, off-road, passengers, luggage. I've taken this thing on the track, low speed, high speed. It's got all the comfort features, all the technology, durable, powerful, highway riding, no problem. It does everything extremely well. But this is specific bike. This is specific purpose bike. This is like the jack of all trades, like, you know, Swiss Army knife type of bike. So just understand, just be aware of that with the Supermoto. A couple other little things that I've noticed been riding around, the mirrors vibrate like crazy. So once you get over like 50 miles per hour, you're just looking at a blur behind you in the mirrors. Of course, you could switch out the mirrors, but then that just goes back to the expense thing if you want to buy more stuff for it. But the tires that came on here, the Conti Attack Supermotos, they're great tires. The brakes are great, suspension are great. I'm not going to do anything else to the bike. The only thing I did to it was just get the fender eliminator thing put on here, so there's not 9 feet of plastic hanging out. I got the little spools so I could get the tire off the ground to clean the chain and all that stuff. Plus I just like having the bike up on its stand. And that's it. I just added my quad lock here with the vibration damper. So my cell phone, I put this on here for my GoPro facing forward for like a dash cam. And that's about it. I don't know what I'm gonna do about the mirrors yet. Maybe I'll get ones that are kind of like, you ever see the mirrors that are like down here, like a circle mirror just to look behind you? And the only thing that's legally required in California is one mirror on the left-hand side of the handlebar, for whatever reason. So I might do that to test that out, because these mirrors are kind of, I mean, you could see pretty good behind you, but once you get going, you know, any speeds above 34 miles per hour or whatever, then they're just vibrating like crazy. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the mirrors go. But either way, it already has good crash protection on here. These are super solid. I might get axle sliders. I'm not really sure yet, but I'm not going to put like frame sliders specifically on here, because when you do foot out Supermoto style, I don't want to kick my shin. Plus on Supermoto bikes, what I've learned from my DRZ when I had it, when you crash a Supermoto bike, this mainly hits the ground, and like maybe the top piece of the back plastic right here will hit, and the spools. So maybe I'll get spools on there just to help protect it. But this is the main thing that's going to take the brunt of any crash on Supermoto bikes. So that's been my experience of actually crashing my DRZ at the track and seeing the damage and where it was. So mainly really strong handguards are the best protection you could get for the thing, which already came on it, which is nice. So, and it's not and then one more thing I just thought of. So the DRZ, you know, 5 gears, I'm not sure about the fuel tank, but I remember I ran out of gas like at 90 miles because of just riding around aggressively and everything like that. So riding this thing around, I think, pretty sure this has a bigger fuel tank. So it has like 3.28 gallons of fuel. And I went riding around when I first got the bike, right? So I got to 98 miles and my fuel light did not even come on. And that's right on the highway and riding around everything else. So when I get more miles on it over the 600 mile mark and I ride more aggressively, then I'll do another experiment to see how long it lasts with aggressive riding. And then I'll update you guys about what's going on with that. But another thing to keep in mind is the fuel. And plus the good thing here, if you look down at the pegs, if I go to the track, I'll just pop off these rubber bad boys and I have super grippy foot pegs. So my tires for my feet won't slip on the pegs, but I'll leave those on there for now for street riding because no problem. But when I go to the track on this thing, I'll just pop the rubber things off. So I want better foot peg grip. But anyway, those are just a couple things to think about if you're thinking about buying a Supermoto. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll chat with you later.